You know, for the longest time, I had these. The Japanese version. And now I don't have to anymore, because I have these. It's time. Hey everybody, welcome back to Nexus Core. It is Atlas again, and I have for you a Harry deck profile after what, like, a year of us sucking? We're finally, like, topping here and there. So, yeah, the deck changed quite a bit from the builds you might have seen on the channel, like where I was doing stuff with, you know, Card Dealer Jacqueline and, you know, Darkside Princess back and forth. This is kind of based on the you know, the Japanese builds that are topping, but I still kept some of that, you know, Atlas-ness in it. So let's get started. For my starter, I have Happiness Collector, so she's a Forerunner. And then GB1, when something is placed on rear from Soul, you can put her into Soul. If you do, draw a card in Soul Charge. So her main purpose is just to spam her over and over so you can keep drawing cards. You want to kill by third stride at the latest, because otherwise you're going to deck out. But the cool thing with her is that, you know, A, because she's spammable, and B, like, now you can actually live to see third stride, whereas before you couldn't anymore. For the longest time, it was the Cat in Boots, who is also still in here, but she's a good starter. If you see the person setting up for the match and they got, like, Kai sleeves, just start with the cat. That's the cool thing. You can choose before the game starts. 4 copies of Masked Phantom Harry, or Harry Phantom, as I like to call him. So he's got 2 skills. Once per turn, GB2. When a rear guard is put into Soul while he's on Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, pick a grade 3 card with the Magia ability from the Soul and put it into your hand. So not only can this help you get stride fodder for next turn, it also helps ensure the cost for a Zeroth Dragon. So that's cool. You don't really use the effect too often, but it's nice. And then the other skill is when you ride him, you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in Soul, 1 on bottom. It's really frustrating when the top 2 cards are like a heal and a PG, but sometimes that happens. And then, sorry, he's got 3 skills. The last skill is when you stride, you can Soul Blast, call something with the Magia ability from your Soul, and if you do that, at the end of the turn, it goes back in. So this is pretty good because you don't use Counterblast, which Pale Moon is really fucking bad at. Jesus Christ. We don't have a Grenache. Grand Blue has a Grenache, so we have to be a little more careful. That's why he's the main ride in here. 3 copies of Masked Magician Harry, or Harry Potter, as I like to call him. So he's got 2 skills, that's what I was thinking of. GB2, when he attacks on Vanguard's circle, you can call something from R, and the thing you called and him get 3k till end of turn. So that's nice if you, I don't know, can't stride or something. You're not really going to use that much. The other skill is when you stride, you can counterblast 1, Soul Charge, call something from Soul, it gets 5k, and at the end of the turn put it back into Soul. So the good thing about this is that you don't have to call something with the Magia ability, and it gets power, but at the same time you use a Counterblast. So depending on the matchup, you will actually end up riding one or the other. Usually the opposite of what I want at any given time, but, you know, that's me. So yeah, good backup. Not as bad as the second Gaia, who I hate with a burning passion. 3 copies of Flying Peryton. So GB1, when you put him on rearguard circle, you can Soul Charge, and then call up to 1 thing from Soul to the same column as him. And then at the end of the turn, you put it back into Soul. So this allows you to make a column. So you call this with, you know, the Harry grade 3, and he pulls something out with him. So there you go, you get a column. Very good card. 3 copies of Darkside Princess, because it wouldn't be Magia, Atlas's Magia, without her. So when she attacks a Vanguard, you can have her get 5k until the end of the battle, and if you do, she goes back into Soul at the end of the battle. So this is really good for early game, because you can, A, help build your Soul. You're like, oh cool, I'm going to put pressure on the opponent, and then I have things I can call out once I start striding. And then on top of that, this can hit Vanguard on its own. I really don't need to sing this thing's praises. It's good. 2 copies of Intensely Spicy Clown. So this is our Broken Heart. GB1, when something's called from Soul, him and the Vanguard get plus 2k. So a lot of times you'll want to have this on your turn, and then when you, usually your Perfect Guards and your G Guard can call something out, which then calls like 3 other things out, and now your Vanguard's huge. That being said, at the time of, deck building, the meta was like a lot more control-centric, and now that's not so much the case. So with the control-centric meta, yeah, you don't really need this because it's going to die anyway, but now you got like DIs and I'm seeing Regalia top every now and then, ZTBs, like it's, this combo is a lot easier to pull off. Also, it's nice just to, I'm going to call this in the front early and then abuse it later. Also helps fix columns, so that's cool. 2 copies of Crescent Moon Juggler. So, GB1, you counterblast Soul Blast when he's placed on R. If you have a Harry Vanguard, you will. You can pay the cost. If you do Soul Charge, choose something from up to 1 card from Soul, call it, and then him and the thing you called get plus 2k, and then at the end of the turn you put the thing you called back in. So, the reason I ran this was because he can put something anywhere on the board, whereas something like Peryton can only do the same column. So, also because he gets plus 2k on his own, he can hit Vanguard, and often the thing you call can also hit Vanguard on its own. Usually the thing I end up calling is Darkside Princess, because then that's a 16k column by yourself. But yeah, this thing allows for flexibility in calling. There's also Red Star Dualhorn, who is also like a weird anti-Peryton. So when it's placed on rear from Soul, he gets 2k till end of turn. So hooray, he can hit Vanguard. And then also Magia, when he's placed on rear from Soul, due to the effect of your Magia ability, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a card from your Soul, call it to the same unit, and then it goes back in. So it's like half Peryton, half Crescent Moon Juggler, kind of. Half Darkside Princess. 3 halves. Anyway, this is, like, it's good for just, being, like, I need something to call, and I don't know what, and I don't want to, like, waste resources, because Crescent Moon can only hit 11 if you do the still. This just hits 11 on its own. Maybe you don't have Darkside Princess. Honestly, you can kind of, like, if you want to run more Perytons or more Princesses or more Jugglers or more Clowns, cut these, because it's odd. I'm still experimenting with the deck on the whole, though. 3 copies of Moonlight Melody Tamer Betty. So, this is supposedly our Negrabone, except Negrabone is literally just all the time better because it does not have to call a hollow unit. Her skill is GB1. At the end of the battle, she boosts a rear guard. You counterblast. If you do, put the boosted unit into the Soul. Choose a card with the Magia ability, call it to R. So, what should happen? You boosted Darkside Princess. She hits 21 on her own. Use Betty still. Put her in. Call out, Darkside Princess again, and then she can hit again. But, because you need the Magia ability, because of course you do, you want to call... that's what Dualhorn is kind of for, because then he can at least hit Vanguard on his own. You can't even get, like, Purple Trapezes to make a new column with. You have to get something with a Magia ability. So that's why I ran weird stuff like Dualhorn and Crescent Moon. But it does allow you to extend attacks, which is very, very nice. So worth running, even if Negrabone is just literally better. 1 copy of Intensely Sweet Clown. Why? Because fuck you, that's why. So GB1, when he's placed on rear from Soul, he gets 5k till the end of the turn. This is really nice with Peryton, because go, alright, Peryton, call, a 21k column for free, awesome. Yeah, it's a tech slot I'm fooling around with. Like, originally I ran 3 copies of, 2 copies of Purple Trapezes. I'll get to that in a second. But, I ran 3 Trapezes just for consistency's sake, but I found that I would have too many at one time, so I figured, why not make it for better columns? And so far it's been working out pretty good, so that's good. Like I said, so Trapezes is when she's called, you pick a different rear guard, put it into Soul, and then you call something else out that's not her, so you can't go, I got 1 in Soul, I'm gonna put this in, call out another Trapezes, put this in, call a new thing. Like, you can't do that. But she is nice for, let's say you, like with Harry Stride still, you get Peryton. Peryton gets this. this puts Peryton back into Soul, and you get Darkside Princess or Clown or whatever. So it allows for flexibility in that Harry's stride skill was, you know, kind of keeping you from getting. But it's also nice that, you know, it's permanent. So normally I would be like, oh, it's not Magia, that sucks. And neither is Betty, by the way. But being able to, you know, keep something out there, like there are some things you want to keep. The Clown, a trigger that we'll be getting to later for the next turn, Happiness Collector. Those are all things you want to keep around. So she allows for fun, often defensive combos like that. 3 copies of Masquerade Bunny. So she's the stride fodder. You search the Harry you want. She works as a stride fodder. I don't need to say more. 4 copies of Darkside Mirror Master. Why? Because I counterblast so fucking much in here. I think part of it is because I run Crescent Moon Juggler. But, you know, if you got another... Only blocks Vanguard, but it doesn't matter because usually you are... All your things are backed in your soul anyway. And then if you have another copy and drops in, you countercharge. So... This is, you know, like a lot of people run Lovely Companion instead, but I found that, like, I'm very aggressive with how often I use Counterblast, so this helps refund it. When we eventually get our heal trigger that helps us unflip, I might cut this, but we'll see. 1 copy of Puss in Boots, like I was talking about before. So, when your other unit is placed on Van, GB1, you can call him out of the soul, and then when he's called from the soul, you pick something besides him from your soul and call it to rear. So this allows you to basically get a column for free upon striding every turn, so you don't have to use Harry's stride skill. Often this is a thing you're going to, you know, want to put with his on-ride skill or this other card coming up. It's not the end of the world if you don't put him in there, but it's just something that's nice to have. Also, if you're, you know, you're against Kagero or something, you're like, all right, I don't want my Happiness Collector to die, let's just start with this instead. So that's good. 4 copies of Psycho Magician Coulthard. So he's the effect heal from the Fighter's Collection that, like, if you call the Coulthard stride, you can put him into Soul, which, cool, I guess. You can Soul Blast that out for the Harry stride skill. Look, the important thing is that we don't have the heal trigger that lets you countercharge yet. We will, eventually. And when that happens, you put it in. But for now, we're kind of stuck with him. He does have nice art, though, so that's good. 4 copies of Darkside Swordmaster. So, she is the Heartham clone. So when Harry attacks, you put her in Soul, draw a card, and he gets plus 5k. This is literally the only clan in the game where you can use her over and over and over again, and guess what? It's amazing! Oh, I'm gonna call Parrot and call this out with the thing that I used it last turn, and then I get another draw on the zip zop zoobity bop pale moon drawn schnit. It's good, alright? I don't need to... I'm done. Bad Bill Cosby impression. Alright, 2 copies of Silverthorn Assistant Dixie. So she's another crit. Her skill is you can put her in deck, and then if you have a Lucario or Vanguard, you can call Silverthorn. The important thing is that you can put her back in deck. So when your deck's running low and you have like a big old hand because you spammed Swordmaster and Happiness Collector, you're like, all right, I'm going to call these, put them back in deck, and then now my drive checks are going to be all crits and stands and stuff. So very, very good card. Not as good as spamming Swordmaster over and over again, but still very good. Let's see, 4 copies of Prankster Girl Mirrorland. So when she's put into Soul, you can put her back in deck, then search your deck for up to 1 card, put it in Soul, and shuffle. So this is like something that helps with Pale Moon's kind of problem of like soul charging things you don't want. Oh, I soul charged a trigger. I don't care, it's going back in. Whoop, it's gone. This is really fun as you get to the later stages of the game and all of your soul charges ended up just being this. Then you're pretty much guaranteeing your drive checks being triggers. So very, very, very good card. 2 copies of Sky High Walker, so you can shove them in Soul and unflip it damage. Sometimes that is necessary in here. Like I said with Swordmaster, you can abuse this over and over. Oftentimes, your call skills are Magia, so it wouldn't matter, but because of Purple Trapezist, you can make this permanent, and then just do it next turn. So, pretty damn good card. Alright, now for the G-Zone. 4 copies of Masquerade Master Harry. Alright, so, you counterblast on attack. You counterblast, flip a copy of him. Choose 2 cards from your other circles, so that can include locks. Awesome. you put them into your soul, and then if you do, you choose up to 3 cards from your soul, call them to separate rear, and at the end of the turn, put them back. So this was just like a better version of Dragon Masquerade Harry, like in every single way. One, we can do this first stride. Great, because we had like no good first strides. If you say Prana, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. So there was that, and then also his other skills, all of your rear guards with the Magia ability get plus 3k for each face-up card with Harry in its card name in your G-Zone. So when you do this first stride, the new field you call out, if those are Magia abilities, they can hit Vanguard on their own, because your 9ks become 12ks, and so on and so forth. You definitely want 4 of these. Luckily, the promo pack comes with 4, so definitely, like, you cannot play the deck effectively without this, so please get them now before they go out of print, and then they're like, what, $20 for one of them? Yeah. But yeah, this thing is really freaking good. Oftentimes, like, 2 is good enough to kill. First stride. Okay, I got him close. Second, they're dead. They're dead. It doesn't matter. They're dead. 1 copy of Parallel Magic Trick Fairfield. So, Act GB3, you counterblast 2, pick a card from your drop zone and soul, put them in your deck. Choose a card from your soul, call it to rear, and until the end of the turn, it is plus 10k in a crit. And then also, it gets the red text. You can Soul Blast 2, it gets another 5k and cannot be chosen by card effects. And then at the end of the turn, the card you called gets put back. So, that is nice against, like, Denial Griffin or whatever, but it also means you can't put triggers on the thing you're calling. So, among other things, like you can't do Betty, things like that. But the good thing about this is that it allows you to put cards back in your deck, which if the game goes that long, like, I don't know, it's something. Oftentimes you're just going to be doing Harry until they're dead. So this is just one of those things where, like, you can put Dreamy Axel Millward in here, start throwing in copies if you want, but, like, this is really good. It's a good card, but just not as good as him. So, yeah, 3 copies of Curtain Call Announcer Mephisto. So, once per turn, you can flip a card face up in G-Zone, anything, and then he gets red text during your turn. All of your units get plus 1k for every card named Mephisto in G-Zone. And then, after you do that, you choose up to 1 card from your soul for every 2 face-up cards in your G-Zone with the Magia ability. Call the chosen cards to separate rear, and those units get plus 5k until the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, put them back. So, this is good, A, because it's free. You do not need Counterblast to do this. So, because we have a G-Guard with the Magia ability, you can go into Harry first, G-Guard once, then go into this, and then now you get 2 big beefy units with plus 5k shield, or shield, plus 5k power. So it's good just for, like, I don't know, if you're playing against Redora or something, because they can counter choke you. Yeah, that's the word, counter choke. But yeah, like I said, most of the Pale Moon G-Zone is just filler, but yeah, he's good. 1 copy of, here we go, Zeroth Dragon at the End of the World Dust. Okay, alright, so you can Ultimate Stride when you have 3 or more cards in your G-Zone. You discard the same card as your Vanguard, we already went over this. When you ride him, you can Counterblast 2. All of your opponent's Vanguards and Rearguards lose all their abilities, and their grade and power become 1. So it's almost deletion, basically. And then if the number of cards in your opponent's damage zone is 4 or less, you deal a damage. So this is great just for trying to close out the game. I literally have not tested this yet, but come on, it's Dust. Dust is great. I think it's the best Zeroth Dragon, and fight me on it if you don't think so. Behind the schoolyard at 3 o'clock. Anyway, so this thing's really freaking good, but it's like $70, so if you don't want to get it, I totally understand. But yeah, good card. Dark Zone Zeroth Dragon. 1 copy of Stream Dragon Master Joel Kimberly, so she's our GB8. When she attacks, you choose up to 5 cards from your soul, call them separate rear. They get plus 5k, become Abyss Dragons, because of course that's how this is going to work. And until the end of the battle, she gets plus 10k for every Abyss Dragon on your rearguard circle. So ideally, you want to call out a full field, she gets plus 60k, and hopefully they're dead. By that point in the game, usually your soul is so giant that if you call over stuff and, you know, all the stuff is going to stay out, it doesn't matter because they're dead. Often, like I said, you draw so much that this can be a possibility of going into this, but it's a I don't know, solid B of a GB8. It's not amazing, not terrible. One copy of Seabreeze. It's the proxy. Shut up. This is real ones in great nature. Because it's Seabreeze. I don't need to. I'm not talking. One copy of Chainsaw Metatrick Furnival. So when you G-Guard, you can check top 3, choose a card from them, and you put it into your soul, and then shuffle. Or, sorry, put the rest on the bottom. Sorry, you put the rest on the bottom. And then if you put a grade 1 or greater card in, he gets 5k till end of the battle. So sometimes it's nice to go into Prankster Girl Mirrorland so you can get whatever you want, but you don't get the shield bonus. So this is just good on like the, you know, like let's say the opponent gets to grade 3 or gets to stride first and you're G-guarding. This is a pretty excellent one for that because you can help set up your soul. 2 copies of Doting Harlequin Maha. Yes, one of them's SP. I don't want to talk about it. So when you G-guard, if you have a Vanguard with Magi ability, you will. She gets plus 5k shield. You choose up to 1 card from your soul, call it to rear, and at the end of the turn you put it back in. If you have a Vanguard without the Magi ability, you can soul charge 3. But the cool thing about this is, let's say you have a clown out there. So you Vanguard and the clown. Use her to call Paradin, so that's +2/+2. Use Paradin to call Cat, +4/+4. Cat to call Purple Trapezes, +6/+6. Put, you know, Paradin in, call out something else, +8/+8. So you can make your Vanguard, like, annoyingly hard to hit. Also, we don't really have, like, a lot of G-guards that give you a lot of shield bonus, so this is just good for stuff like that. Also, if you kept Happiness Collector out there, you can get a draw on the opponent's turn. Very good. 1 copy of Kinesis Metatrick Coulthard. So you flip something, and then if you have 1 of each grade in your soul, he gets plus 15k shield. So if you use Coulthard, he puts himself into soul, so that's 0. And then writing him normally is 1 and 2. You just need to get a 3 in there, which is very, very easy to do. Pretty freaking good G-Guard. Helps you speed toward GB8 if that's what you want to do. And then lastly, 1 copy of Jester Demonic Dragon, Wandering Dragon. So, unfortunately, all of the good PGs only activate when called from hand, so you can't do something with this. His skill is, when you G-Guard, you soul charge, choose a card from your soul, and call it to Guard Circle. So, if only Darkside Mirror Master worked when just placed on Guard Circle. Because then you could be like, alright, use this, call out the PG, PGU, oh, and unflip it damage. Like, it's a bit of a downside, but it is nice that you can be like, alright, I'm gonna, you know, like I soul charged Coulthard by accident. I'm gonna call it out, and it's 36k G-Guard. So pretty easy to pull off, and I think this is gonna be fun in Premium when we get more. You know, our triggers have more shield. But yeah, so that was the Harry deck profile. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long, guys. I have been, so I don't know if you guys know, I do stand-up comedy. I got onto my first comedy festival called Laugh Riot Girl, because of course that's what it's called. And that's from June 4th to 11th. If you live in the LA area, come out and see me. I'll put a link down in the description. Also, I started another YouTube channel with my friend Nick, who's another comedian, and we do sketches and things like that, so that'll be down there also. We're called Millennial Comic. Thanks for watching, and thank you for 8k subs, by the way. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.